What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the recaps of round 8 and round 9 of the Sounds Open. As you can see, this is a double round recap, but in reality, it's only gonna be one game because even though round 8 wasn't my fastest win, but it was definitely my easiest win ever. But round 9 was actually interesting. But let's go one by one. First, let me show you what I had to say right after round 8 ended, and I will see you after this clip.
Alrighty, this is going to be a quick one. So today I got paired against an almost 2200 guy, and he never showed up. So I won. I won that way. What a weird way to win. So yeah, the arbiter started the clock. I played the first move, and my guy never showed up. So I basically sat there for an hour. Technically, I walked for an hour, and then, after an hour, the arbiter came, stopped the clock, and declared me as the winner. Yeah, I don't know if this has ever happened to me. Yeah, kind of messed up to be honest. Like, I don't know what happened to the guy, and I hope he's okay. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to fight, of course. I'm here, I want to play. So, but it is what it is. Again, I don't know if this has ever happened to me, but yeah. So today there's no see you on the analysis board kind of talk because there's nothing to show you. So yeah, it's a W. I'm expecting a strong opponent tomorrow. We'll see what happens. All right. Well, a win is a win, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Signing out for today. See you tomorrow.
Yep, kind of ridiculous. I mean, my opponent never showed up. I was waiting, I was looking around, but my opponent eventually never came to the game. So it was unfortunate because I wanted to fight and also I wanted to take his rating. Because you don't get ratings for this, right? So one time I won in 4 moves because my opponent phone went off, right? I got ratings for that. Now I didn't get ratings for this, so that's kind of unlucky. Now, what was even more unlucky, that pairing came, and then I got the number 5 player in the tournament over 2500 Grandmaster. So that was, I felt like that was unlucky. But yeah, I mean that's part of the open system, I guess. So as usual, before I show you the game, let me show you what I had to say right after the game ended. So I will see you after the clip.
Uh, I lost today. Unfortunate, but I guess it was kind of expected. So I played against the number 5 guy in this tournament, a grandmaster over 2500. I think his peak was even like 2600, and he's still young. He's like 22 or 23. So yeah. Again, the result is not too surprising. I was maybe hoping for something, but I don't think I had a chance. During the game, I felt like I had something or something was going on, but I don't think I really had much of a chance if I want to be completely honest. But yeah, unfortunate. I mean, and also unfortunate pairing, to be honest. Like, and that's the kind of like the tricky part, or I don't know, the bad part, quote unquote, of an open tournament, especially such a big tournament as this one, where you beat a lower rated player, and the next round you get paired up to a strong opponent, sometimes really strong opponent, and then you go back down, and then you repeat the cycle, which is a little bit annoying. So I would say it was somewhat of an unlucky pairing, like in terms of tournament. But on the other hand, it was a lucky pairing, I guess, because I get to play against these strong opponents, and I get to test myself, which is always nice. But well, today there was no surprise. Well, it is what it is. There's still one more round tomorrow, the last one. It's so weird that in this tournament there are 10 rounds. I even like I don't know. Anyway, it's just weird. But anyway, there's still one more round, and the last round starts in the morning, so I should probably get some sleep. Um, yeah, it is what it is. But anyway, um, let me show you what happened in this one. Yeah, see you on the analysis board.
I lost. What a surprise, yeah. Anyway, let me show you what happened in this one. So, round 9, and I got paired against the number 5 player, Grandmaster Pultinavicius, and I am white in this game, and I picked my trusty one knight f3. I didn't really know what to expect against him. He had so many games in the databases, and he played a lot of lines, so I didn't really know what was going to happen. So I just played knight f3. He played d5, g3, bishop g4, and he basically went for a somewhat standard Rati opening. Bishop g2, c6, d4, knight f6, h3. H is actually quite a clever move. Like including h3 actually matters in some lines. I don't want to get into details, but h3 is actually a smart move to include. Bishop h5, castle, e6, c4, knight bd7. Now here I committed to c takes d5. Obviously, there are a lot of different options here. I committed to the c takes d5 line. This is a line that I've analyzed recently, so that's why I picked it. But it's not like it's the best. So, but I just decided to go with c takes d5 this game and e takes d5. And here, this was my first real dilemma, if you can call that, because I didn't know what line to go for. I was familiar with two lines, one with queen b3 and the other with knight e5. Of course, I regret going for knight e5 because I lost, but I don't know if it if queen b3 would have made a difference. But anyway, yeah, I went with knight e5, and he played the best move, which is knight e4. That is the very best response. By the way, knight e5 is a very sneaky line. So if actually black doesn't know the line, doesn't know how to respond, you can easily find yourself in like big trouble. So if you, let's say, if you play something supernatural like bishop d6, I go with f4, and now white already has like I'm not saying a winning position, but like a very good position. I think even according to engine, it's like +1 or so. So yeah, it's just a bad line. But 94 was a strong move, and that was pretty much my knowledge. I mean, obviously I have a lot of analysis on this, but as usual, I forgot my line and I didn't really know what to do. And so I put a lot of thought into this, and I decided to just go a bit crazy. I don't really know why. To be honest, my thought process was, especially after like spending, I don't even know, like 30 minutes on this move, which is on its own stupid. But, I was like, if I spend 30 minutes on a move, I might as well play something, interesting like g4, because if you go for like knight d2 after 30 minutes, then you're like, what are you doing with your life? Like knight d2 should take you what, like 2 minutes max? Like, so I don't really understand. But yeah, knight d2 is, by the way, the best move, of course. Or even bishop takes c4, d takes e4, knight c3 is also the best. By the way, every line is probably okay for black as well. His 94 move is a really smart move, and to be honest, because of 94, the 95 line is just not that impressive anymore. Like, if there is an advantage for white, maybe it's just, like tiny, like microscopic, to be honest. But yeah, 92 would have been the best. I completely, again, forgot my line, but that's like a somewhat recurring theme in this tournament, and it seems like every tournament or every game that I play, I just don't know the lines. It is what it is. So I went with g4, knight takes e5, and then I went with g takes h5. So I was like, you know what, my opponent is a very strong player. I might as well go crazy and try something. Even here, I feel like d takes e5 would have been a bit more like reasonable. And when the opponent goes back, you just simply play knight d2, and I'm fine. Like, this is an equal position. Obviously, the position is totally fine. But I was like, no, let me make it interesting against a player like him, which is, I don't even know. I don't think this is a clever approach, but I don't know what got into me in this game. Yeah, 97. Now, funnily enough, objectively, the moves that I made were not bad. Like, this position is actually still fine because I have the bishop pair and the opponent is actually a little bit underdeveloped. So I do have some counterplay, obviously, or like counterplay slash compensation for for the bad structure, but it's not like it looks terrible, but it's actually not that terrible that I have this double pawn on the h file, because you can't really put pressure on it. But here I really should have capitalized on the fact that he is underdeveloped, right? His king is still on e8, basically all of black's pieces on the back rank, right? So I should have played a, a lot more actively here. I played knight c3, which was okay, but it was like far from the best, because queen b3 would have been the best. And yeah, queen b3 is just a nice move, because again, I'm not letting you develop your pieces and solve your problem. Black's biggest problem is the underdevelopment. If black finishes development, of course I have a worse position because my structure is bad and I can't really utilize my bishop pair. So I should have played more actively here. Queen b3. Now here I believe the move that would have happened would have been like queen b6. I think that's a very natural move. By the way, according to the engine, bishop d6 is a good move. I don't know, like I don't really think that this would have happened, not because he wouldn't be able to find such a move. Obviously, if someone can find it, he's definitely the one. I don't think it would have happened. But anyway, queen takes b7, rook c8, knight c3, knight df6, and black has compensation here for the pawn, again because of my structure, right? And potentially my king safety as well. Now black can castle and so on. This would have been interesting. I feel like queen b6 is a bit more human, but after queen b6 I can just easily simplify the position by trading on e4, d takes c4, knight to c3, queen takes, a takes, and if you go f5 I can just play f3. And again, I can just simplify takes, g6, and I go e4. And yes, the structure is quite bad for me, but now I'm active, and again, your pieces are still quite passive. So white is completely fine here. Interestingly enough, I don't know why, but I would have been, of course, happy with the draw, but throughout the game, like, I never played a move that was like, that was designed to like draw the opponent, which is like kind of surprising, to be honest. Or at least going over this game again, it feels like it's not that I was going for a win, but I didn't go for a draw specifically. It wasn't necessarily my intention, at least from looking at my moves, that I was like, oh, okay, draw is fine, and I was trading everything off, which is obviously was a mistake. But yeah, anyway, knight c3 and knight df6, great move. Of course, he's not trading. Here I probably played the first, like, not mistake, but inaccuracy, or maybe not the first, but I felt like the first real one. Queen d3. Now queen d3, again, I'm trying to attack, but it's just not that great, because of course I missed the opponent's next move. Maybe again queen b3 would have been better, and then queen b3 with the idea of again simplifying the position. Queen d7, let's say knight takes c4, knight takes c4, and actually bishop takes c4, d takes c4, and d5. So this is something that I of course completely missed, but again, as I said earlier, I didn't really even have that mindset to, like, to to trade, to simplify, and also this is just a pawn sacrifice. So this is something that I don't really think of, because I'm like, you sacrifice a pawn for what? Anyway, that's of course me being an amateur. Anyway, knight df6, queen d3. So queen d3 was not that great because of queen e7. I felt like queen e7 was really, really clever move, because even if I wanted to now take, right, on e4, so even if I considered, all the captures on e4, even with the bishop, now after all the d takes e4, it comes with a tempo, right? And also queen e7 also enables black to castle long, so that's a bit annoying as well. But just queen e7 is just a clever move. That's something that I missed. I don't know why I missed it, but I guess because it doesn't look that natural, closing that bishop's diagonal. So I think that was the reason. But yeah. So here, again, I probably should have taken on e4. And after knight takes e4, I don't take one more time. I just simply play bishop f4. And I develop, and I should be okay. Now, let's say black follows it up with queen e6, which is probably the main move anyway. And now again I can take. The reason being is because even though, yes, I do lose the tempo, but after queen b3, I can offer a trade again and then kind of win the tempo back, if that makes any sense. And I can, again, simplify and probably equalize the game. Again, throughout this game, I never really considered these as a serious option. Somewhat surprising that I wasn't trying to like completely draw my opponent. I'm guessing he was probably quite happy about this. I played rook b1, which is like somewhat ambitious, I guess. It's but it's not even the great of a move, because I want to play like b4, b5. Maybe I can attack, but he goes queen e6, very good move. I went with b4, of course I'm consistent. And here, during the game, I thought that he played a very strong move, or at least a really annoying move to face. He played b5. After the game, we talked, we analyzed a little bit. By the way, he's a really cool guy. So yeah, it was a pleasure, talking to him and analyzing with him. And of course, again, just to show you the difference in understanding chess and the position, I thought during the game, of course, from White's perspective, from my perspective, it was like, b5 was really annoying to face because it just stopped everything. And knight d6, knight c4, it was just annoying. And of course, after the game, he was like, I think b5 was a mistake. And I was like, oh, okay, I didn't really have this feeling. And of course, he's right. Like, b5 was actually a mistake. Like, it was not, okay, maybe not a mistake, but like it was definitely an inaccuracy. But his understanding was just obviously much better than mine. I was not wrong necessarily. He was just more right, if that makes sense. Like, b5 is still a good move, but like a6 would have been just simply better, and a4 you just simply develop, and I can't. It's very hard for me to break through with b5, by the way. So yeah, so he just understood the position a little bit better. I was still super bothered by b5. So yeah. Knight takes c4, knight takes c4, and here I think I played the first mistake. I feel like I can call this a mistake. Maybe again another inaccuracy. I played f3. Again here, being a little bit ambitious, to be honest. I wanted to be a bit ambitious. I was like, maybe I can play e4, and I mean, his king is still on e8, bishop is still on f8. I was like, yeah, maybe I have something. I mean, it's like very, very optimistic. I should have played bishop f4. At this point, I really wanted to avoid the trades, so in this game, my evaluation was so off, because I thought like this position is just horrible, and it's actually not that bad, because rook b c1, if you go knight c4, the knight looks great on c4, but it doesn't do anything. Weirdly enough, the knight on c4 it's great, but it's just not a, it just looks great, but it doesn't do much, right? And I feel like that's something that I misevaluated a little bit. And also knight c4, is more or less always met by e4, right? So let's say you go knight c4, I go e4, and then I do have some active play here. And if you go rook c8, I can play rook c5 even. Again, rook c1 double. If you okay, you can kick me out with knight b7, but it's just probably going to be a repetition. And otherwise, again, whenever you jump to c4, I can play e4. And now I should be okay, right? So my position should be okay. So yeah, after this, I'm still fine. I'm still very much in the game. Now, after f3, I was not so much in the game anymore. He played knight g3, which was a great move. And then I played rook f2, which was a move that I can't really explain. I feel like I was hallucinating some lines here. Of course, like rook e1 is the most natural move ever, and it's like, it makes a lot of sense. Also, like x-raying the queen and the king, and it just makes sense. It's logical. I don't know why I didn't do it. I think I was hallucinating some lines here. I was like, even if I play e4, I can't really, push the pawn or take the pawn. And I was like, what? I don't know. But it still doesn't make sense to go with rook f2. So I don't know. This was just an awkward move to make. Bishop e7, e4, castle, h6, and after bishop h4, I think I already have a bad position. Not a losing one, but just a bad position. Rook c2, queen g6, because just from a strategical perspective, my position is quite crap. So rook b3, rook e8, and here I made somewhat the nail in the put the nail in the coffin with this e5 move. If I play bishop f4, maybe I have better chances, maybe. But this obviously comes with a pawn sacrifice. So let's say d takes e4, f takes e4, knight takes e4, but I have bishop e5. Maybe. Now here I'm actually quite pleased with this position. Like I would have been happy to have this position. I think I would have been more annoyed by knight h5. Again, I believe that keeping the structure as is and just go for the dark squares, I think that would be very annoying. So let's say bishop e3, bishop g5. I think again, as I said, from a positional perspective, this is just really, really bad. According to the engine, is just only a bit worse, which is in my understanding, that's a bit weird. That's a bit surprising. I mean, the position looks disgusting, to be honest. So yeah. Anyway, I played e5. He went with knight f5, and after this, like even throughout the game, he played a very, very good chess. I feel like he played very good chess. And he didn't make a mistake. And there were some really precise moments where he was like, he was really showing his true strength in my opinion. Like rook e6, pawn takes a5. So that's again another very good move. He was like, okay, well, I can't immediately break through on the king side, so let me open up another one. Right, so take stakes, rook a3, take stakes, and king g7, and throughout the game he was so calm and collected, or at least it seemed like, and even his moves were like, okay, well, king g7, I don't have to rush. By the way, I think bishop g5 though was significantly faster, and I could be critical of him, not playing bishop g5 because this is okay, a faster win. It is what it is. Yeah, I mean, bishop c1 takes stakes, knight h4, and I more or less I can resign here because queen takes, rook takes g6, and rook c2 takes here, and I obviously takes my whole board. So yeah, it's at this point it's more of a domino than chess, right? So. But okay, again, king g7, he was just not rushing anywhere. He knew that he could win whatever he does, right? So rook e2, bishop f4, I'm lost here. And his next move was something that I really, really liked. From his perspective, of course, to face it, it was terrible, but I really liked rook e8, right? I think it was just such a calm and collected move. It's not that it's super impressive. It's almost anyone can find rook e8. I just think that a lot of people maybe would play some like queen g3, would try to rush it, and I'm like, oh, I'm winning, and boom, 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 and but you give unnecessary counterplay. Like at this point, white has nothing to lose, absolutely nothing to lose. So I know I'm lost, right? As white, I'm lost. So I just simply, I'm just simply going to stir things up, if that makes sense, right? So if you go queen g3, I go queen a8, king h6. Now I'm black is still winning, but now queen f8, the only move is actually queen g7. Again, black is still winning, but why would you give counter chances like this? Again, this is still fine, but why? And so rook e8 was just, I was like, oh crap, he's not giving me anything. So I feel like that was really well played by him. Queen d3, king h7, king h8, sorry. Now on the g file, king f8, king f2, rook g8, king e1, queen h5. Now, even during the game, I saw the winning line. That was I was quite surprised that he didn't do it, because I thought that queen g3 was just winning on the spot. King d1, knight e3. I was like, this is just pretty much resignable. But he played queen h5. Not that I knew like, oh, now he gave me a chance. I knew it's game over. I was just surprised that he didn't play the faster win. Anyway, bishop b4 and knight e3. Now he eventually played it, and rook takes e3, rook takes g2, bishop e7, queen takes, bishop f6, king g8, and I resign because I get checkmated or I lose all of my pieces, and yeah. So that's it for this game, round 9. Again, tough pairing, really tough pairing, right? Played against such a strong player. He didn't have the best tournament. I think that something that threw me off a little bit, that he wasn't having a great tournament. So I was like, I'm white, and he's not in his best form. So I was like, maybe I have some chances, but I feel like, he played well, and I also didn't play. Too well. So I made mistakes. I forgot, the lines, of course. I didn't try to equalize ever, or I didn't try to simplify the position. I tried to be ambitious, which was silly, and then he just outplayed me. I cannot be too mad. I wasn't even too mad after the game either. It was just, I was annoyed by mainly the pairing, but at the same time, it was a great experience for me as well, to play against him. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. There's one more game left of this Sants Open, so I'll come back with that soon. But yeah, that's it for now. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. And as usual, I hope you learned something. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys.